I woke up the next morning, Jude's bed was empty and the coffee was made. So I helped myself to a cup, pulled on my jacket, and found Jude standing on the beach outside our room. It was still dark, but you could see the dark outline of the mountains across the bay. The sky was overcast, and a slight breeze jiggled the mast hardware on the boats in the marina. I stopped beside her, sipped my coffee, wished it was stronger, and gazed into the lightening darkness. Less than 10 feet away, a blue heron stood motionless on a piling, keeping us company. So did your dreams tell you anything, I asked. Express the colors and the patterns will emerge. Yeah, right, okay. I mean, all about the weird things that have happened. Everything that happens has a pattern, Mavis. We can't see it until we lay on enough color so that the pattern erupts. Jude, where are you going with this? I'm going to choose colors for all the things that don't make sense and brush them onto watercolor paper. Then I'm going to keep dropping in details until we can see what we're looking at. These are events, Jude. Events don't have colors, but they do, Mavis. We just have to pay attention to what's going on around us, and the aura of events will emerge. Spare me, I thought. So how do you know what goes in a picture? Anything that feels strange or out of place. I don't know. On a bad day, the world seems strange to me and I feel out of place. Well, maybe there's more than one painting. We just have to start and see what happens. Frankly, I did not think this was one of Jude's better ideas, but she has surprised me in the past. Sometimes she comes out of left field and hits a home run. Other times, don't get me started. I'm embarrassed to say I didn't have a better idea. We stood side by side, breathing in the smell of seaweed carried on the moist morning air. Jude swallowed her coffee and said, "Let's go in, I'm getting cold out here." We headed back into the hotel room and closed the patio door. So does the lift working, then not working, then working go in your painting, I asked. No, she said, we all know that happens because Sam always drives his buses into the ground. I mean, like Bunny's engagement ring going missing. You think someone's stealing? Well, I don't know what I think. That's why I'm painting a picture. It's early. I'm going to go for a swim in the pool before breakfast. Maybe something will come to me from the water. Want to come? Well, you can't really swim in those dinky hotel pools, but that didn't keep Jude from trying. She swam up and down like a caged sardine. Myself, I sat in the hot tub and observed the people around me. The pool had glass walls, so from the hot tub, I could see Jude in the pool and the people working out in the exercise room. The only one I knew was May, pedaling away on the recumbent bicycle. Her blindingly white runners and hot pink sweatsuit contrasted sharply with her pitch black hair. The only way you could tell she was 80 is because she wasn't pedaling that fast. There was a woman maybe about 40 who was on the treadmill marching along, reading the Globe and Mail, which was just attached to the front of the machine. Surely that can't be today's paper in Cowichan Bay, I thought. The man working out on the weight machine looked like he didn't know that the hotel was going to have an exercise room. He was dressed in street shoes, corduroy pants, and a white t-shirt. May waved to me as I headed into the shower, which was so cold I got out before she practically had stopped waving. I ran into Jude in the change room. Any ideas, I asked? Breakfast, she said. By the time we left, the guy in the weight room was the only one left. I noticed Irene going down the hall, supposedly to breakfast, and of course alone. Hey, Jude, look who's still with us. I wonder if she's going to go to Ladysmith Light Up with us tonight. I wonder where she goes when she's not with us. I'm dropping that in the painting, said Jude. I'm thinking Prussian blue. Amaryllis has a lot to answer for. When we got out in the hall, I noticed one of the twins was holding the blanket wrap present while the other one knocked on our door. We're here, Jude said. Both women turned to look at us. On the bright side, said one of them, Bryce phoned me, he's fine. So I'm thinking that's Mary Lou, the grandmother. Though somewhat remiss in his communication skills, added Frankie. He's meeting us for breakfast and he wants me to bring the present. What a relief, said Jude. By the way, did you ever ask him if he was the guy asking for his grandmother in Nanaimo? Oh, no, I didn't, but I will when I see him. We're trying to clear up mysteries, I added. Oh dear, said Mary Lou. I'm afraid we've replaced one mystery with another. Though a missing person is more important than a missing fountain pen, even if the pen is special. Mary Lou, don't be obscure, said Frankie. Simply put, I'm afraid I lost my fountain pen, and I was hoping one of you would open up the bus so I could look for it. A student's father gave it to her, said Mary Lou. She'd had it for donkey's years, and she's never lost it. Jude shot me a look. I'm sure Mavis can do that for you. I have to make a phone call, she said. She's so full of it. No problem, I said. Just let me change and I'll meet you at the bus in 15 minutes. Mary Lou was still fretting. We turned the room upside down and we went through our luggage twice. Me, I'm always losing things, but Frank almost never does. Well, do you remember the last time you saw it? I asked. Yes, I think we had it yesterday on the bus when we were doing the crossword puzzle. Then the bus is a good bet, said Jude. Walking back to the room, I couldn't help myself. So what do you think? What color is Frankie's pen? It's silver, she said. I saw it in the restaurant, said Jude, abandoning New Age color theory for the real world. I'm pretty sure it got lost when we all had that commotion with the luggage when we stopped to look at the swans. When she lands in the real world, she's surprisingly smart. When I got out to the parking lot, Frankie was waiting for me by the bus door. I sent Mary Lou off to breakfast. She gets so nervous when things like this happen. I find it hard to concentrate. I know what you mean, I said. I unlocked the driver's door, crawled across the seat, and opened the passenger door for Frankie. She came up the stairs and pointed to the rubber seal on the bus door. I don't remember this being there yesterday, she said. I looked at the door. About midway up, there was a slight bulge in the rubber, and also when I looked closer, there was a small tear and looked like what could be a rust stain. Looks like somebody tried to jimmy the door. I don't remember it either, I said. It might have been there, but I think I would have noticed. I'll ask Jude. Frankie ran her fingers along the backs of all the seats. I looked on the floor. No pen stuck out. What color is it? I said. She said, it's silver. Is it expensive? I imagine it is. The man who gave it to me was quite wealthy, but I've never had reason to know. So that told me that it was worth looking behind the first aid kit and the fire extinguisher and around the lift mechanism and under the floor mats around the gas and the brake. No luck. Frankie was so quiet I thought she must really be upset. I tell you what, I said. After breakfast, I can drive you back to where we stopped to see the swans. Maybe the pen rolled off the bus there and we'll find it. That would be very kind, she said. I know it's only a pen, but the man who gave it to me thought that I had changed his son's life. And maybe I had. You don't really know how your teaching affects people. The pen reminds me to be hopeful about my use in the world. I thought Catholics believe that God knows your purpose. Well, yes, he does, said Frankie, but he gave us the drive to figure it out. Kind of a cat and mouse guy, eh? Frankie laughed and said, well, I never heard it put quite like that. Do you think you had the pen in the restaurant last night? We could walk over taking the same route you took yesterday. Well, I don't recall having it in the restaurant, but my short-term memory isn't that good anymore. Let's retrace your steps then. We might get lucky. I followed Frankie over to the rock cod, each of us sweeping the ground with our eyes. Neither of us saw the pen, but I saw thousands of places it could have rolled. The whole gang was sitting together in the main room at 2 tables pushed together. Frida sat on the end. Irene sat by herself in the glassed-in porch. I figured that Bryce had showed up because a young man, kind of 17-ish, sat next to Mary Lou, devouring a breakfast the size of a smorgasbord. Frankie and I slid into the 2 empty seats and opened our menus. "Did you find it?" Jude asked. "No," I said. "I told Frankie I'd drive her out to the Cowichan Bay Road to where we saw the swans yesterday. It might have rolled off the bus there." "What rolled off the bus?" asked May. Frankie raised her voice to take in the whole table. "I'm afraid I've lost my fountain pen. Have any of you seen it?" "You were using it last night when we discovered the storage room was broken into," said Bunny. "I don't remember that," said Frankie. "What storeroom got broken into?" Bryce said, forks suspended in midair. "The reception desk," said Mary Lou. "Somebody broke in and went through all our luggage. But Kaylee's present is here, right? I asked the waitress to put it behind the cash counter. There wasn't room for it at the table." Mary Lou told him. "That's good, because I really need it." He paused. I looked at him, and I could see a thought landing like the eagle on the moon. I mean, she's going to be so surprised." "Yeah, right, I bet." Over our second cup of coffee, Frida says, "It's time to get organized before people go off in all directions." It turned out that the day was full of activities, and the schedule began to look like it would require split-second timing. At 10 a.m., Mr. Carstairs, the manager, wanted to drive May and anybody else who would like to go into Duncan so May could shop for Christmas wrapping. When Frida told everybody that Duncan had quite a quaint downtown with very many little interesting shops, Bunny and Mary Lou decided that they would like to go along too. No problem. There was a minor hitch when Frida said that she wanted to go into Duncan because she could only go on the bus, and I'd promised to drive Frankie out Cowichan Bay Road to look for her pen. But Frida agreed to help look for the pen, and Frankie agreed to continue on into Duncan. So that worked out. Then in the afternoon, we all had to be back to be on the bus by 4 o'clock for Ladysmith because we had tickets to the spaghetti dinner before the parade. We wouldn't be getting back to the hotel until after 10. Frida warned everybody to take a nap if they needed one. We were all on our own for lunch. "Is anybody going to ask Irene if she's going?" asked Bunny. I looked at Jude, who got busy drinking coffee. "I'll go," I said. Irene had finished eating and was paging through the Cowichan Valley Citizen as she sipped her coffee. "Irene, the hotel manager, is driving some of the ladies into Duncan this morning. Would you like to go along?" Irene looked up, put her coffee down. "Yes," she said. That was a shocker. "Be at the front desk for Duncan by 10 and by 4 for the Ladysmith Light Up," I said. She ducked her chin. I wasn't sure if she'd nodded or if she'd just gone back to reading the newspaper. I couldn't think of anything else to say, so I went back to our main table. "She's going," I said. "Wish I'd bet on that," said May. "Time for me to take off, Gigi." Bryce pushed back his chair and started to stand. "See you around, Gaga." "Oh, Bryce, stop that. You know Frankie doesn't like that name." "What can I do? You are my great-grand, she's my great-aunt. I just call it the way I see it." "Well, on your way out, just tell the cashier that you want the package that Mary Lou Niebauer left." "How long will you be in Victoria?" "Don't know. Thanks for doing this, Gigi." Bryce headed off toward the cash, then turned toward the washrooms. "I think we all better get moving if we want to meet again at 10, said Frida. The group split up. Jude and Bunny went with Frida to pay the bill and head back to the hotel. The rest of us trooped off to the washroom. May whispered in my ear, "That guy waiting to be seated is from the hotel. Should I ask him if he left a bag in the storage room?" Well, I figured we should ask him back at the hotel because if he wasn't the guy, he wouldn't know what the hell she was talking about. After we had used the washroom, we were all standing near the front door, zipping up our coats and pulling on our toques and gloves, and the waitress at the cash counter calls out, "Don't forget to take your package." "It's all right, dear," said Mary Lou. "My grandson took it with him." "It's right here," she said, lifting up the present to show us. "Maybe he's still in the washroom," said May. Well, I can't imagine what's taking him so long, said Mary Lou. I hope he's not ill. Do you think you could get one of the waiters to go into the men's room and see if there's a guy named Bryce in there? I asked the waitress. Less than 5 minutes later, the waiter came out and said, there's nobody in the men's room, but the window's open. If the guy was really skinny, he could have got through there. But why would he, said Mary Lou. Why indeed, said Frankie. This makes no sense at all. He asked me to bring the present here, and he checked to make sure I had. What do you think is going on with that boy, Frank? You're better at boys than I am. Well, it's possible he just walked out of the washroom and forgot to pick up the present, and he'll come back when he remembers it. Well, we can't just leave it here on the off chance that he's going to remember what he's doing, Mary Lou said, clearly losing patience with her not-so-great-grandson. Well, I can take it back to the hotel for you, I said. He knows where you are. I don't want to miss the trip to Duncan waiting for him to show up. I think you've been accommodating enough, Mary Lou, Frankie said. The next time he gets in touch, pick a time and a place that's convenient for you and tell him to be there. I'm sure his mother didn't raise him like this. Something is not right. Amen to that. Jude was going to plop this in her painting for sure, I thought, though I wondered how she was going to figure out what color to choose for somebody who wasn't there. I was very glad when we got to our rooms because I had a desperate desire to put the present down. It wasn't really heavy, but it was bulky. I had to carry it in front of me with both arms wrapped around it. By the time we had walked from the restaurant to the hotel, my back was killing me. Frankie rummaged in the front pocket of her pack for the door key. Oh dear, I'm not sure what to do, Mary Lou said. Oh no, I thought. About what, asked me. Well, if he comes for the present and it's in our room, we're going to be gone most of the day and the evening. What will happen? Well, maybe they fixed the lock on the storage room door, May said. Put it there. Yeah, I said, Carolyn will be at the front desk and she can tell him. Frankie paused with the key card in her hand. Mary Lou, I really think the best place for the package is in our room. Furthermore, I think it's time we had a talk with Bryce to see what's going on. He's 17, Frank. He's going to think we're a couple of dragons guarding the treasure. It's good for young people to think we're dragons, said May. I wanted to scream, just settle it. But I shifted my feet and hiked the present up in my arm. In any case, we're not even sure he's coming back today. Frank raised her eyebrows at her sister. Oh dear, Mary Lou sighed. Regrettably, no, I guess you're right, Frank. I'm going now, May said. I need a list for shopping. I was so happy to see Frankie slide the key card into the door and turn the knob that I practically ran over her, rushing into the room to put the present on the luggage rack. I straightened up with both my hands on my thighs. I'll see you at the bus at 10, I said. Thank you so much, dear, said Mary Lou. Maybe we can meet for lunch in Duncan. When I got to my room, the key card, it was driving me nuts. Jude finally got up and let me in. I had 15 minutes before we had to leave. Do you want to go with us, I asked Jude. Are you kidding? Everybody's going to be gone. I have peace and quiet and time to think. I was so jealous. I met one of the twins in the lobby and we walked out the entrance together. Carstairs had pulled his Parisian right up to the door. May and Bunny were sitting in the back seat with the door open, and Irene sat in the front, bag in lap. Hurry up, Mary Lou, Bunny said. We're waiting on you. That's odd, said the twin next to me. I thought she was right behind me. I'm sure she'll be here soon. You two should get your names sewed on your blouses, May said. I'll mention it to Mary Lou, said Frankie. We walked across the parking lot to the bus where Frida and Raven were waiting. I unlocked the bus and opened the passenger door. I started up the engine. Raven grabbed the switch and lowered the lift for Frida. Frida rode up and maneuvered herself into her wheelchair spot. I went back and clipped her in. I was walking down the aisle when Raven came up the front steps. Looks like somebody tried to jimmy the door, she said. Yeah, that's what I thought. Did you notice it yesterday, I asked. No, she said. Please help me remember to tell Jude. We should ask around to see if someone saw anyone near the bus, said Frida. Oh, it probably happened late at night, I said. Well, the pub next door doesn't close till 1 a.m., said Raven. Well, some of us penny pinchers don't sleep so well. Maybe someone was roaming the halls in the wee hours and saw something. Anything is possible with this bunch. I had a sudden vision of our bus being tossed back and forth between Amaryllis and the cat and mouse guy. I'm definitely not telling Jude that.